everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is a part 2 of the 2530 Evinrude setup. Basically, I have a 1994 short shaft Evinrude that came in here that had a rod thrown in it. But the whole lower leg and everything, the pan, it had all the modern upgrades done to it already. The primer choke, the forward shift, the cable throttle. Then I had the 1984 long shaft that had busted motor mounts, no tiller handle, had a lot of different things, but the power head was good. And so I decided I would see if I could retrofit that 1984 power head to the 91 short shaft. And I knew there was going to be obstacles when I started it. And so I'll start and run the engine first, and then I'll pull the bonnet and show you some of the obstacles that I overcame. And so let me get set up to do that, and then I'll come back once I get it on a stand, get the hose all hooked up and battery and so forth, and I'll show you what I got, what I came up with. And so give me just a minute. I want to say a big welcome to all the new subscribers, and so I'll be right back with once I get it set up, and we'll look and see how it came out. Be right back. All right, there it is, the little engine in question. So I've got the battery, whoops, sorry about that, all hooked up, and there's the little booger in question. Came out pretty nice, can't complain. So let's see what we get. Alrighty. Okay, you can see there she runs pretty good. So let's let me show you. This is the power head that was in that motor, and as you can see, it got religion. It is quite holy. Some of the things I found when I took this power head out that I was wondering if it was going to be an issue, and but if you see these 3 holes on the inner exhaust tube, the power head I put in there from the 84 did not have those holes. So I didn't know, everything else was the same, it just didn't have those holes. And I think this was done in the later models. They figured they could get some of the bypass water to cool the outer housing right there, to get this area cool. So anyway, I don't know if that's the case or not. Some engineer type might weigh in on that. But anyway, I drilled 3 holes. I just took a template, a piece of paper, and rubbed it where I could see the holes, and I drilled 3 holes in the inner exhaust leg on that one. So that's what I did. And she pees real good, and the water comes out the blubber hole real good. If you look at the other video, and it came out good enough. I put tiger hair. There was holes all in this, and I put kitty hair there. Gave her a little rattle can paint, and that cleaned up nice. All right, this will move it to bonnet. Okay, so there's the 82, and I'll point out things that I did that I had to overcome. If you notice where that solenoid is, that's not typically where you will find the solenoid on this style of motor. You will normally find that solenoid tucked in right there. But I couldn't leave that there because this right here is hooked into this cable throttle. Now this engine originally came with the knuckle style, and I wanted the cable. So this is, I think they call it on the parts diagram the bell crank riser. But it has this piece that sticks out here and accepts this screw coming in from the bottom. So your throttle can do that and advance your bell crank up there. So if I would have left the solenoid there, I mean, it goes away from the solenoid, but that solenoid is so tight in there anyway. I've never really liked the way it bolted in when it was here, because the S1 and S2 screws point downward, and you can't get to them if you got a short. And then the screws come up in that away. So I just didn't like it there, and plus this is going to be crowded enough with the cable. So I built my own bracket, and I moved it to there. All right. I don't know if you can see it or not, but part of the carburetor is right there. This motor originally had the electric foot valve primer, and I didn't want that there, because this one, the 94, had this, which is the manual primer. And I wasn't sure with that starter there if it was going to fit, but it did fine. It fit in there just fine, and I routed the hoses so they were out of the way of the opening of the carburetor. I came over top from the solenoid down to the starter hot. I came in through here with my leads Here's your main hot going to the battery. Here's your hot going to the starter. Here's your S1 and S2, and the hood fits on there fine. Okay, other issues with it. This motor originally had the shifter over here on the side. This powerhead did. So I wanted the forward shift. And with the electric choke there, I think it would have rubbed there. Not bad, but I think it would have rubbed. But now that electric choke's gone, it's out of the way. The electric foot valve primer's gone, it's out of the way. So there's no issues in shifting. It shifts just fine. All right. One of the things I had to overcome was the safety interlock. It moves out of the way when you go into gear, and it pops back up so that you can only throttle up so high there. You can see that, boom, I can only throttle up so high. Well, this block off the 84 was bossed. In other words, it had the part where the screw goes in, but it was just a hole there. It wasn't threaded. So I had to take a 1/4 inch, 20, and tap that boss on the block in order to get the safety interlock all hooked back up and working. All right, so that was a little bit of a pickle. I mean, not critical. So now I have the electric start. I have the pull start. I have the forward shift, the cable throttle, manual primer, short shaft, tiller operated. I've got everything tucked in, nice and out of the way of the bonnet, and it runs really good. I put a clamp handle right there. That one was broke off. They were both stuck. They're nice and freed up now. This one has the man overboard kill switch, and just came out overall pretty nice. So I'm happy with it. She's certainly back in service, ready to go to work. This would be an excellent inflatable motor for an inflatable raft, or an inflatable rigid hull, or anything with a short transom. So that's a 1984 powerhead inside a 1991 lower, and it all fits in there just nice. And there's differences that the two had for sure, but easy to overcome. Everything looks factory. It's got a nice rectifier, charges your battery, but the bonnet says 30 horse. It's a 25. So there she is. It shifts really smooth, idles really sweet, and she is good to go. So let me get you back over here. Alrighty. Should do. Alright, so it all worked out really well. And you might say, well, what was the purpose? Well, one, I get a demand for the short shaft. Anything over 15 horsepower in short shaft, I get a pretty good demand for them. And quite honestly, it's hard to get over 15 horsepower in the short shaft around my neck of the woods. Where you're at, they may be a dime a dozen. But I don't get many of them. And so I had a good power head in an engine that had a lot of issues with motor mounts, and the lower unit was questionable on it because the fella I got it from got it second hand that it would jump out of gear. So probably some clutch dog issues there, gear issues. A fella brought this one in with the hole in it and everything, and he donated it to me just for parts. He knew it was shot. So I had the stuff to do it, but the point of the video is these outboards are not the space shuttle or even a new model pickup truck. You can pretty much adapt and interchange this when it comes to OMC. Well, really when it comes to all of them. You can adapt parts and move things around. So here's an old engine that had knuckle throttle control. Now it has a cable. Here's an engine that is much older and a much newer lower unit. So you may have a 90s, mid 90s Johnson or Evinrude that throws a rod or something goes in it, and you know somebody who's got an older one, and you're wondering, well, would that fit in my newer one? Well, as long as the bolt patterns on the powerhead are the same, pretty much everything else you can hook up and you can make work. So so this one's done. Time to move on to my next project. I'm almost finished with that little Yamaha 4-stroke, the 9.9 that I got that came in a couple pieces. I'll show you what I'm doing with that. I just got 1 or 2 more things to finish on that, and I'll be ready to make a video on that. But as far as the 25-30 conversion, long shaft to short shaft, old power head to new power head, it's a go. It's a good runner. Should be able to sell this with not too much problem because of all the stuff it has on it now. So quite doable. So if you come up with an old power head and wonder if it'll work, watch this video. Hopefully it'll help you out. And I'm trying to think if there's anything I left out on the important stuff to get the conversion. And I don't think I left anything out. That's pretty much what you got to do to get it to fit on there. So so it's a nice little motor, and thanks for watching.